Hi friends, and welcome back. If this is their first time joining us, my name is Pastor Ruth. I'm the pastor of the Longmeadow Congregational Church, United Church of Christ in Auburn, New Hampshire, and I come to YouTube twice each week. I'm here every Sunday with a worship service for the entire church family, but I also get to come here every Wednesday with a special message for the children of our church. And throughout the season of Lent, and honestly a little while later until Earth Day, I have been talking with different friends from the church about how we can take care of God's great creation. That's the very first job that God gave us. God brought us into the garden and said, take care of this for me. And so I thought that was a really good message for Lent. And so today I am here with my friend Patti, and Patti takes care of these beautiful gardens that are here in the very front of our church. And she just picked this up and started doing this on her own, and along with some other people who do help, but it's something you made the decision to do on your own. And I was wondering, can you tell us what kind of things we have here in the garden in the front of the church?
Well, we have all kinds of things that keep coming up at different times. And we have crocuses, which are the first to come up, and then come the daffodils and the hyacinths, and these are all bulbs that open. And after that we have irises, and we have mums and lilies, and then the trees all have blossoms which open.
So we've got rhododendron here behind us, and there's a big lilac that's getting kind of old. I love that lilac bush. We have a gorgeous French lilac bush. It's getting a little old and a little scraggly, but it keeps doing its best.
And it still smells good.
It still smells good, and it's been here for decades, decades old. And so I've put in some pictures of the crocuses at the very beginning of this video for you to see. Those are, as Patti said, the very first things that come up. And I was wondering, what was it that led you to start working here in the church's garden?
Well, somebody else used to do it before me, and then I saw that nobody was doing it, and I said, that's something I love to do, and it's something that will help the church and make the yard more beautiful, so I just started doing it.
Yeah, so you must love gardening before you have gardens. I know you have gardens at your house because I've seen them, so this is something, and sometimes when we have gifts, when we have things that we love to do, it's usually because we're good at them, and we can share those gifts. And so we're really glad that Patti shares her gift of gardening to make this area in the front of our church a really welcoming place. It's sort of like we're joining with God in creation. We get to join with God and do something with God.
Neither one of us do it all by ourselves.
No.
Us or God. And sometimes He really works helping me. I feel He's helping me as I plant, and then the seeds swell and the plants and the flowers come out. And then other times when I'm out here trying to rake all the leaves off the flowers, and I've got a big bag, and as I get the bag almost full, the big wind comes up and blows it, and the oak leaves go all over the place. And I say, God, why aren't you helping me? I'm trying to make your yard more beautiful in front of the church. So slow the wind down.
I know Patti and I talked about doing this video a few months ago, but we've just had snow and snow and snow and snow, and it finally is warm enough that there are actually things growing, and we're finally able to do it. So we can't predict, we can't demand, we can't coerce God into doing things on our schedule. Sometimes we have to just let God do things on God's schedule. And that reminded me of a story that the Apostle Paul told. He used to go around to different churches and tell them for the first time about Jesus and about his experience of Jesus. And they thought that was wonderful. And then he'd go on to another town, and other people would come after him, and they would tell about their understanding of Jesus. And one man's name was Apollos, and he came into towns and he told people about his experience with Jesus. And so when Paul went back, people said to him, well, we heard what you had to say, and we heard what Apollos had to say, and you've had similar but not exactly the same story. Are we Paul's disciples or are we Apollos' disciples? And he said, you know what? You're not either. You're Jesus' disciples. And we're telling you what we experienced, but that's not the whole of what God does. And what he said is, I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. It's something, as Patti said, we do together with God. God creates the conditions, gives us the rain, gives us the sunshine like we finally have today, although it's not warm, really, but gives us the sunshine we finally have and gives us the conditions to grow. But by Patti and other people working with the yard, we can make this incredibly beautiful creation, just like God does for all of us. And so I want to thank you, Patti, for the ministry that you do here at the church. This is an amazing thing, because not only does it benefit us in the church, but it benefits everybody that goes by. And as you can probably hear, there's a lot of traffic going by on this road, and they get to see this beautiful garden. And so I hope that you will stop by our gardens sometime this spring. And this summer, the spring bulbs are just coming in, as Patti said. In a few weeks, we'll have the daffodils and the tulips and the hyacinths coming in. And as the summer goes on, we'll have the irises and the azaleas will bloom. And it's just a beautiful place. There's a wonderful bench here you can come and sit on and just enjoy the garden. It's here for you, thanks to Patti and generations of other people who've cared for it. And we hope that you'll come and enjoy this part of God's great creation. Will you pray with me as we close out? Gracious God, we thank you for all of the beauty of this earth, and we thank you for those who care for it. Help us to be your hands and to help care for your great creation in whatever way we can, sharing the gifts that we have and thanking those who share their gifts. Amen. Amen. So thank you, Patti, for joining me. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you'll come back next week, where I will once again be talking to you about ways in which we in the church can help God to care for God's great creation. And until then, my friends, remember, I miss seeing you. I love you, and above all that, God loves you more than you can ever imagine. Bye-bye.
So we're waving in the person.